I struggle to believe, let me say that, it was a struggle. Also, we can't just, play down the greed, the desire, and I'm trying to pick my words. I'm on the radio. I can't speak against them. But this particular party, these people are so greedy, and they are ready to do anything. Anyway,
because we're running out of time.
We have just five more minutes.
Yes.
Summarize. No phone calls.
So no phone calls at all. It's quite a lot. First of all, let me start with Yoruba Nation no rally allowed in Lagos, according to police reports. And you can find this in the Punch newspapers. The Lagos State Police Command had today announced that the planned Yoruba Nation rally slated to hold in the state on Saturday will not be allowed. This was disclosed by the State Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumosu, at a media briefing held in Alausa in Ikeja. He said on no account will any actual or rumored activity, including the planned mega rally, be allowed to lock down the state or hinder the normal daily activities of the good people of Lagos State. The report available to the police command indicates that some disgruntled elements have perfected plans to infiltrate the ranks of protesters, causing mayhem, and to seize the opportunity to attack and loot properties of the law-abiding citizens of the state. Similarly, it has gotten to the knowledge of the command that the organizers, foot soldiers, and mobilizers have concluded plans to embark on a procession on the streets of Lagos as part of the program for the major rally. So that's coming from the police. And Sunday Igboho has this to say. According to another report, Sunday Igboho suspends Lagos Yoruba Nation rally. The Yoruba rights activist Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, has suspended the Yoruba Nation rally, which was scheduled to hold in Lagos on Saturday. Recall that the Yoruba Nation agitators had held rallies in different parts of the southwest, with that of Lagos scheduled for Saturday. However, Igboho, who spoke to BBC Pidgin, stated that the rally in Lagos has been suspended. He said this hours after his home in Ibadan, Oyo State, was on Thursday attacked by gunmen that reportedly took the lives of two people and abducted his wife. Still on this matter, DSS confirms raid on Igboko's house and launches manhunt. Still from the Punch newspapers. The Department of State Security Services has confirmed Thursday morning that the Thursday morning raid on the Ibadan residence of the Yoruba rights activist Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho. A secret police also confirmed that some of his guards were arrested, while two lost their lives in a gun battle. The Punch had exclusively reported that the DSS carried out the raids around 1 a.m. on Thursday. A spokesman, according to the Punch, Peter Afunaya, at a press briefing in Abuja on Thursday, said the secret police carried out the raid after intelligence reports revealed that Igboho stockpiled weapons in his house. The DSS therefore launched a manhunt for him. It's a long story. According to him, he said in the early hours at about 1:34 a.m., 1st July, a joint team of security operatives raided the residence of Igboho at Soka, Ibadan. This was based on intelligence that he had stockpiled arms in the place. On approach to the residence, the team came under heavy attack by 9 men suspected to be his guards, 6 of them armed with AK-47s, and 3 others with pump action rifles. So, quite a few stories around this particular incident, and yeah, I'm sure we're going to discuss this in detail on Monday on the radio. So take good care of yourself, Ada.
Oh, nice. So, oh my God,
take care.
Of course.
Bye. Uh-huh. All right, so back to us. Quite a lot, like I said earlier on, quite a lot to someone said why are they always trying to subdue agitations rather than look to the root of it? You're 100% correct. Agitation, you see, I'm torn in between. The police actually is making sense. After what we saw with NSAS, do you really want a rally of this magnitude in Lagos? I'm a bit worried. But at the same time, that doesn't take away the reality of what the agitators are fighting for. Is there a way that the government can listen to them so they don't need to do a rally? Is there a way that they can sit with them and actually have conversations? I'm asking because I'm a bit worried. We should all be very careful to avoid war in Nigeria. Whatever we do, we need to be very careful. Many of you who are seemingly ready to support war have never witnessed it before. I think you should watch series like Vikings so you understand what war is about, what a state of war is like. Many of you cannot even fight. If they say you should fight Ijakadi, down there you'll be using somebody's back to touch the ground. Many of you cannot even fight. Many of you cannot live without medication. War is not fun and games. You all need to be exceedingly careful when it comes to issues around war. And at the same time, we can't continue suffering the way we're suffering. Nobody can lie to you. See, it's like war is one extreme. The suffering we are suffering, let's not lie, is another extreme. War is not good. The suffering is not good. How do we find a middle ground? How do we find a middle ground? Guys, please don't promote Oscar money. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to delete your comments. Don't promote anything on my page. Don't promote any other page on my page, please. I do not support. I don't know what they are doing on that page. Do not promote any page on my page. Guys, do not, from my page, go to any other page. I did not send you. So, there are many things. The Constitution, the referendum, sitting down to discuss with the agitators, finding out what truly the problem is. There's so many things in between the suffering we're suffering now and war. And that middle ground must be met by both the government and the agitators. If the government is willing and the agitators are not, we're in trouble. If the agitators are willing and the government is not, we're in trouble. Both parties have to be willing to dialogue. Both parties have to be willing to make something work. And you see, I used to be Nigeria must not break. Nigeria, I've all my life, I love Nigeria. But in the light of what is happening, is it really worth it for us to continue struggling because we want to have one nation? Are we really one? I worry about that. Are we really one? Who is this superstar? Let me just block you. Straight up. Don't worry. I will block you next time. You will not come to my page to talk nonsense. Are we really one? Can we really continue to live together? Is the government really doing what they're supposed to be doing? Are we having a situation where the government is doing all it really can do, but the citizens are just disgruntled? So there's so many things. There's so many things that we need to talk about. Like I've said, I've always been a one Nigeria person. Or maybe we're not getting the full story. Maybe the government is not able to talk to us properly. But I'm not getting the vibe that we can. I'm not getting it. Maybe somebody needs to convince me that we really must stay together at all costs. It's like they are like 5 nations forced to live together, struggling to live together. Religion is not helping us. I was listening to Mr. President talking about, he said Nigerians are Nigerians' problems. Religion is not Nigerians' problem. Tribalism is not Nigeria's problem. Nigerians are Nigeria's problem. And I don't know if I should agree or disagree. Maybe I agree in parts, but I also need to let you know that religion and tribalism also are. You see, if you remove religion and tribalism, the problem of Nigerians is going to be reduced. Nigerians are Nigerians because they see other tribes as outsiders. It's called the outside bias. There's a psychological term for it. Please let me... outside group bias. I think that's what it is. In-group favoritism, sometimes known as in-group, out-group bias. Intergroup bias or in-group preference is a pattern of favoring members of one's in-group over out-group members. This can be expressed in evaluating others, in allocation of resources, and many other ways. It's a bias. This effect has been researched by many psychologists and linked to many theories related to group conflict and prejudice. The phenomenon is primarily viewed from a social psychology standpoint. Studies have shown that in-group favoritism arises as a result of the formation of cultural groups. These cultural groups can be divided based on seemingly trivial observable traits, but with time populations grow to associate certain traits with certain behaviors, increasing then incentives in-group bias. 2 prominent theoretical approaches to the phenomenon of in-group bias are realistic conflict theory and social identity theory. Now, what is realistic conflict theory? Okay, what is realistic conflict theory? It's a social psychological intergroup model of an intergroup conflict. The theory explains how intergroup hostility can arise as a result of conflicting goals and competition over limited resources. And it also offers an explanation for the feeling of prejudice and discrimination towards the outgroup that accompany the intergroup hostility. So if you understand what this is trying to say, if you look at Nigeria, you will see that we're struggling for limited resources. Whether you like to admit it or not, we're struggling for limited resources. And in the struggle, the in-group, out-group bias is playing out. People would rather work with their in-group than their out-group. And religion is a dividing. You can never, my humble opinion, religion is a dividing force. When Redeem cannot marry winners, or are advised not to marry winners, we are not talking of Seleo. We are talking Pentecostal, charismatic. We are not telling you to marry Muslim. This is Pentecostal versus Pentecostal. And there's already division with regards to a culture. So, by the time you had religion, by the time you had tribe, by the time you have limited resources, by the time you have the Nigerian land is favorable to some, not favorable to all. It's not all of Nigeria's land that is arable. So you already have people, you already have the infighting mentality inbred into us. This is a psychological problem. From the beginning, some people seemed favored, and those who seemed like they were not favored were fighting back. And let's also not put away, even, let me also talk to our agitators. Many of our agitators have their own selfish interests. So you have government and government selfish interests, and you have agitators and agitators selfish interests. And then you have the public, who is bullied or swayed by the government, or bullied or swayed by the agitators. And the public always suffers. We used to have one guy who used to fight for us, for labor. After a while, he joined them, collected political appointment. Ada was saying this on the radio. She was like, look, all these struggles seem like they're making so much sense. So we also have to, we don't have the selfless leadership or selfless opposition leadership like we had with Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela died an average man. My father's house in Ibadan is bigger than Nelson Mandela's house. There was nothing to show that this was a prominent living legend at a point in South Africa. We don't have Martin Luther King. We have people who are complaining about a system, and how much better than the system are they really? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. First question is the government doing what they're supposed to be doing? Second question is, those fighting the government, are they doing it 100% because they want it or because they have their own vested interests? Thirdly, we're suffering. Listen, Nigeria is suffering. Whether you like to admit it, whether you like to believe it, we are currently suffering. Taste Buds was working on a section of the house, and we stumbled upon some old tiles we used when we were finishing the house. And she was like, do you know how expensive these tiles are? I mean, I'm like, it's tiles. How much did we buy that time? I said, some of these tiles are going for as much as 10K a square meter. How much did we buy there? Maybe 3.5 a square meter. Do you understand? Something you bought 5 years ago for a third the price now. People can barely eat. How much has your salary been multiplied by 3? The salary I was earning 5 years ago is the same salary I'm earning today. Maybe they added 2K. Thank God that I don't rely on salary. But if I were relying on my salary, I'd be devastated. So you can't say that Nigeria is not suffering. It's not a conversation we should even be having unless we want to sound really hypocritical. It's not even a conversation. We have not even started talking about the unrests. We have not even started talking about the insecurity. The power sector is still struggling. The roads. So there's one thing that whether the government is doing its work or the government is not doing their work, we can't really say 100% because we are not in government. We don't understand what it takes to be in government. But one thing I need to know is we are suffering. That's one. You don't need to be in government to know that you are suffering. Just look around you. The insecurity is real. For a governor to come public and say, guys, learn to start defending yourselves. We don't know where this thing is going. So you need to understand that we are in a serious predicament. Now, the agitators are complaining. They have every right to complain. In a civilized world, agitation is allowed. People should have the right to protest. But then, I remember the xenophobia protest, where black South Africans were attacking Nigerians, and Nigerians were retaliating by attacking Indians and Chinese. I was in traffic that day. I almost lost my life that day. I was in that. The riot was happening ahead, and people were coming to my car to warn me. Luckily, we were able to get out of it and go to my house because it was on my street. Then we saw the NSAS protest and how it ended. Whether we're going to blame the government for it or we're going to blame the youth that joined us for it, at the end of the day, neither of the two protests ended well. Not the NSAS, nor the, what is it called? Xenophobia protests. So, yes, the citizens have the right to protest, but at what risk? Abroad, people sit on the road and protest, and ain't nobody gonna fight. But here, the day I knew we're in trouble, immediately after the toll gate incident, I was in my bathroom hearing noise, and I went to my bathroom window, and from my bathroom window I saw somebody pushing a ShopRite trolley on the street. I said, wow, it is happening. Do you want to tell me that that person that went to ShopRite went there to complain about police brutality? Let's be honest. He just went there to loot. Oh yes, and people will say yes, even in the Black Lives Matter protest in the US, looting still happened, blah, 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 blah. The economic infrastructure, the social infrastructure of the US can cope, we cannot cope. Right now, if another NSAS happens and people lose their businesses again, I'm not sure we'll be able to survive. Didn't you notice that celebs did not come out like, before, celebs who carry flag, go and that. See as everybody all quiet. Does that not speak to you? Does that not speak to you? And there are some people who say, yes, let them loot. They've suffered too much. That's not the mentality. I don't want to go and fight for my nation or for my right with someone who in his mind wants to go and steal sardine. We are not fighting the same battle. You go and steal your sardine. As long as somebody is fighting for Nigeria or for his tribe or for his against oppression, and another person wants to go and steal palm oil or sardine, the two of you have no business standing together. You at the end of the day would end up creating an avenue for the sardine thief. Until we all have that mentality that, look, we don't want to burn anywhere, we don't want to fight, we don't want to scatter anywhere. We want to tell these people that we're suffering. We want these people to know that we're suffering. Until we can. And let me tell you something. Coming out of NSAS, I felt that, look, let's help these youths. I gathered some youths and I said, okay, out of the youths, what can you people do? Let's support you. This is where you now realize that Nigerians are difficult to even help. There was one guy, if you remember, he broke somebody's mirror. And we bought a bus for him, a 500K bus. We paid 400K out of it and told him to finance the rest over a 3-week period. So instead of him doing delivery and paying to his boss, he now owns his own bus. So out of the delivery money, he should pay the remaining of the loan till he pays it off totally. 1 month or 2 months later, the guy I put in charge of the project was calling me that they cannot find the guy again. They said, according to the report I got, that from the first money he got, he went to play Bet Niger. Or went to play one of those, sorry, I'm not sure if it's Bet Niger, please forgive me. Went to play one of those. And I'm like, we gave you an opportunity to come out of poverty. Instead of you working and paying somebody, working from morning till night and carrying your profit and going to give somebody else, we created an opportunity for you to be your own boss, believing that if you managed yourself well, within 1 year, you would own 2 buses. I have one guy who washes my car. He used to wash my car when I was living in 1004. When I moved with him. He came to my estate. Before you know it, every morning he washes like 20 cars. He has a little shop. Once he finishes washing cars, he has a little shop that he goes. These are the Nigerians we should invest in. Not every Nigerian. Now there's the holistic picture. If you look at it again, you say, yes, well, the people are like that because the government failed them. There's no education and all. I agree. There's no education. Does that mean that they gave you money to run a business? You cannot run a business for yourself. They gave you a platter and then you are messing it up. There were some boys we opened the shop for. The boy could not manage the shop. We built a shop, opened the shop for him. He could not manage it. At the end of the day, he ended up selling it and went back to the street. So how do you even help people who all they believe in is government is supposed to do this for me? Okay, government did not do it. We did it. What did you do for yourself? Coming out of that, my mindset changed. I sat down with Range Rover Doctor the other day. He came to my house. And we're having a conversation while sitting by the cars. And he said he wanted to have a school for mechanics, or people where people could come and learn how to be a mechanic properly. And I said, I would like the Free Nation to sponsor a guy and a girl. Let them go and learn, because we want to try every opportunity. Okay, since we can't give you money to do business, many people say, hey, if they give you 500K to do business, let me tell you, if you don't have business in your blood, they will give you 30 million. You will squander it. You will squander it. Someone like Taste Buds, if you give her 30 million to do business, because she knows how to run a business, She has the experience. She has the customer base. She has the supplier chain. She would, but you just believe that if they give you 30 million, you do a business. If you are not properly trained in that business, you will squander the money. So even if the government were to share 1 million naira to all citizens, in 2 years, some people will be back to poverty and some people will be new billionaires. There's also something. That's why I'm saying the president was not entirely wrong. There's something wrong with Nigerians first. Then we now have religion and tribalism as an added bonus. Many people don't understand this. So sometimes when you are agitating, be careful what you're agitating for. Do you have a proper plan? Or are we going to get out of Nigeria and go to Biafra with Nigerian mentality? Just think about it. This same our mentality. The government must do for us. How much does your government really have? What does your government bank on? Is it not this crude oil? Only you are watching electric cars every day. I was watching some guy telling Nigerians that electric car is the way forward. I said, look at this one. I don't want to say it's a joker. How do you charge the electric car? Do you plug it to street lights to charge? Or do you take it to those people that charge phone for you and say, hey, Baba, let me pay you 50 naira. Please help me charge my electric car. How do you charge it? How are you part of a future that your past is wobbly? For you to be part of that future, for America to tell you that they are going to electric car, first of all, they fixed electricity. You can't join them when you are still struggling with petrol. Someone is saying, let's talk about Sunday. I'm talking about Sunday, but you're not getting it. You want me to sit down and say, Igboho, Igboho, Igboho. I want you to think deeper than Igboho. I want you to think deeper than Igboho. I want you to think about the deep-rooted problems we've had as a nation since before independence, not independence. Before independence. Someone says, it looks like you are scared to talk about the evil government. My dear brother, when your eyes start to open, you realize that it's not only the government that is evil. I want to ask you, the so-called government that you call evil, where did they come from? From Egypt? Did they come from Hungary? Did they come from Canada or Uganda or Ghana? No, I'm asking you, where did the government come from? Do we not have Igbo men in the government? Do we not have a prominent leader as a Yoruba man? No, I'm asking you. Think. I'm not scared. I just can see what your shallow eyes are preventing you from seeing. Have you bothered to find out if your government even has money? Let me tell you, your government has bad management and a lot of issues. But let me tell you, they don't have money. You think they did? Because they are telling you about one oil. One day your eyes will open. When your eyes open, I hope it's not too late. Personally, I do not believe in any nation here, any nation there. I'm a one Nigeria person. The reason why I'm thinking that we can't work together is because of the evidence that we are beginning to see. That does still not mean that I'm just going to throw my weight behind any nation. I want to see what they have to offer. I want to see what they have to offer in terms of policy, in terms of ideology. Is it, listen, let me warn you. If you break out of Nigeria and form Biafra with Nigerian mentality, your suffering will continue. The problem is not Biafra. The president was right in that. The problem is Nigeria and Nigerians. As long as that place you are going to is Nigerians you're carrying to, you are not changing their mindset. You are carrying them. You will have the exact same problem. It's just that it will be in a different setting. It's just like you are in Nigeria and your wife is beating you, and you relocate to Canada and your wife is still beating you. The problem continues, just that the location is now different. You are in a new geographic location, but your problem remains the same. Give that some consideration. Give that some consideration. How do we fix the foundational issue? First things first. Knowledge. Education. When I came one day and showed historical, scriptural evidence that Lucifer is not the devil, it's Christ, all of you are fighting me. Do you know why you're fighting me? Because you can't change your foundation. That's exactly the problem of Nigeria. I sat down, I dared the pastors to come out and challenge my thesis. One guy was talking, what's his name again? Talking off point, missed the whole thing totally. He was saying that the Latin translation, Lucifer is a Latin word. How did he get into the Bible? He didn't get into the Bible from the Greek. It got there from Latin. So let's address the original Latin Bible, where that word came from. Sentiments and emotions. Nobody is willing to accept new knowledge. How many people are willing to accept that, in this Nigeria, maybe I'm the one that even has a problem? First step to fix a bad marriage is admitting your faults. Until you're able to sit down and think about it, that, oh, maybe my husband is cheating on me because I quarrel with him too much. Listen, I'm going to have this discussion on another day. Some women will come and tell you that a man cheating should never be blamed on his wife. Oh, really? I've been in relationships where the woman's attitude made me cheat. I'll tell you a story. I was dating one girl when I was in the university. So she was very controlling. She now told me that I used to smoke then. So she told me that if I ever smoked again, she would leave me. And I don't want her to leave me. But I was also enjoying the cigarettes back then. So I was sneaking to smoke until I got busted by one of her friends, and it was hell. She literally played out one huge drama, disappeared. We went everywhere to look for her. At the end of the day, I was able to find her with plenty begging. I swore that I was never going to do it again, blah, 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 blah. I maintained that status quo for about 6 months. After a while, you know, what's in the hungry you go, they hungry you. I began to crave again, and I fell, and I was sneaking. Then after like 2-3 months, I was able to stop. A cigar, no be anything way strong past that. I was able to stop. Then one day, 4 months down the line, I confessed to her. I just felt that, let me even discuss this with this woman. As in the amount of drama she gave me, I swore to myself that night. And you know, that kind of drama where there's no one you run to. There's nowhere you can run to. I just swore that night that, no. I need to have another baby in my life. No. And let me tell you, every time she gave me that drama, I'll just be with her like this. be looking at my clock, say, okay, 11 more, day don't nearly break. Once I just come out for this house, you know, go see me again till evening. I go chill with my guys, hang out with my other babe, and relax. People don't understand that sometimes there's cause and effect. And when woman give you stress and won't bust your head, you go wrong, go meet another woman. So we also need to apply this to our situation. Where is our hard shoulder? Where do we run to in this situation? Think, Nigerians. Talk to yourselves. What are you doing wrong? How do you fix yourself? Because the problem is, if you move to another location, let me tell you, what saves people when they move out of Nigeria is because they have to change to adapt. You can't go to the UK and not pay taxes like you do in Nigeria. You can't go to Canada and not pay taxes like you do in Nigeria. You can't go to Canada and flog your children like you do in Nigeria. You can't go to America and throw your wife's load out of the house like you do in Nigeria. So when you go out of Nigeria, you are forced to change. Who's with me? When you go out of Nigeria, you are forced to change. Now, when you are going to Biafra, who is going to force you to change? You're going to go with your same mentality. When you go to Yoruba Nation, unless you are willing to change, Yoruba Nation will be a reflection of Nigeria. Biafra will be a reflection of Nigeria. Because what is going to force you to change? You are just going to go there with this. Let's fix this. Nigerians excel abroad because they are forced to change. We're forced to change. All the things you do and get away with in Nigeria. Average you in Nigeria walking on the streets like say you know be human being. Where peace catch you, you go just face bush there. Go and try that in the UK. Clear as you dey waka go, peace just catch you. Just look the nearest bush or you stand. You never see people sit down for the railing of bridge. They defecate into the water below. Do you think I can do that in the UK? Do you think I can do that in Canada? You see, for Nigeria to move into Biafra or Yoruba Nation and have a successful one, Nigeria has to change 360. And let me tell you, by the time you as a Nigerian change 360, and all Nigerians change 360, you now realize that there's no need to go anywhere. Do you understand my logic? For you to go out of Nigeria and make Biafra work or make Yoruba Nation work, you have to change 360. Or else it can never work. It's just going to be the same thing. You just go there and start another set of fighting, but on a different ground. And guess what? If you are able to actually change 360, or sorry, change 180, because changing 360 is going back to you. Change 180 is go from north to south, as in total opposite. If everybody is able to change, then you realize that there's no need to go anywhere. How many of you pay taxes? How many of you actually pay your own NEPA bill? How many of you do not bribe? This is the mentality. Your children, somebody that paid for JAMB for his child, paid for machinery to sit for JAMB. all of a sudden is complaining that the government is bad. How good are you? Somebody that was complaining to me one day, I was with a family member, and the family member was complaining about how bad Nigeria is, how bad. Then we now mentioned one of our family members who was in office and did not steal a pin. And the same person was like, it doesn't have sense. So that if I was in that office, I say, you are complaining, in one breath, you are complaining about Nigeria. In another breath, someone that decided to be a faithful Nigerian, you are complaining that he did not take and he left in poverty. If all our leaders went there to work and all left in poverty, will we have any reason to be agitating today? You want a better nation? Start with yourself. When you have fixed yourself, and then you see that there's still no way forward, then you can leave. That's for you, the Nigerian. Now the government. The government has a big task. The government is not assuring the people. The government is not ensuring that lives and property are protected. The government is seemingly leaning to one side. So Nigerians need to fix themselves. The government needs to fix itself. Because at the rate at which you are going, these rallies that you are trying to avoid, one day hunger will make people come and do rally. I don't know if people understand. You get where hunger go beat person reach, the next thing na rally. No, you know go fit stop that one. No? Where hunger they go, people go face gun. So the government has the opportunity to fix things now. Make this hunger no pass like this. Make this suffering no pass like this. If this suffering pass like this, nobody go tell anybody to stay house. Everybody go come out for streets. Instead of gagging the people, find ways of talking to them. Don't gag, talk. I understand the need for regulating social media. You see, in as much as I work on social media, my whole life is on social media, I still understand how dangerous social media is and how people need to be accountable for their actions on social media. And I know the government also realizes this. So yes, I understand the restrictions, but be careful, you can go from restriction to a total gag. The people must be able to talk. Somebody is saying we want to go, period. I'm not going to sit down here and tell you to go. Do you know what? Where are you going? Have you fixed yourself? You want to go and continue being silly? What laws are there in place? You will go there now and start telling the same people that, no, we are not going to agree. In Nigeria, they did not tell us like, no. You don't know human beings. Go and read Bible. What happened when Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt? After a while, they sat with Moses. They say, hey, you want to go back to Egypt. You don't know. They say, we're eating onion and garlic. This one, we're just eating manna. You want me to read it for you? Let me read it for you. God openly see just to save them. Did everything. And they finally were able to establish their own nation. They were able to come out. Go with me to Numbers chapter 11. I'm reading from verse 5. Let me read from verse 4. Then the foreign ramble, who were traveling with the Israelites began to crave the good things of Egypt. And the people of Israel also began to complain. Oh, for some meat, they exclaimed. We remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt. And we also had cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetites are gone. All we ever see is this manna. The manna looked like small coriander seeds and it was pale yellow like gum resin. The people would go out and gather it from the ground. They made flour by grinding it with hand mills or pounding it in mortars. They boiled it in a pot and made it into flat cakes. These cakes tasted like pastries baked with olive oil. The manna came down on the camp with the dew during the night. Moses heard all the family standing in the doorways of their tent whining, and the Lord became very angry. Think about it. They complained and cried to God. God sent Moses, took them out. Small suffering. We want to go back and eat melon. We want to go back and eat fish. In fact, we are going back to Nigeria. Until you're able to fix your mindset, you can't go anywhere and survive. You can't go anywhere and prosper. Always remember, just think about it. When people, somebody saying, cow, go to bed. Can you see how Eze Ogbonna is thinking? Let me tell you, if they use you, people like you, to start Biafra, Zoo go even better. Now circus, you weigh your brain. If they open your head with telescope, they no fit see one grain inside. Electron microscope self no fit see your brain. You weigh mumu like this. Me and your papa who be cow, God go, make I just keep quiet. Make I not tell you wetin big pass you today. So anyway, him don't say make I go sleep. I will go sleep. I don't talk my own. This video is going to be in perpetuity. Tomorrow, you will always remember that Daddy Freeze warned us. Government, fix yourself. People, fix yourselves. Avoid war, and government, avoid this hunger that is beating the nation. Find any means in between to resolve this, including assuring the people that you care for them and care about them. Good night.